Greetings, family. Shalom alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. In hotel. Amani kaka. Amani dada. Abarnani. Konnichiwa. Ni hao ma. Greetings, family. Listen. Of course, I am your host with the most. I am the one, the apostle, the prophet. That's right. Listen. Coming into your eye gates and to your eardrums with 2,400 watts of power. We want you to know, listen, that we're undertaking a great work here in a true session for the family. We're taking time out to still away and to contemplate and to meditate and to actualize and self-actualize and to visualize so that we can have a table set for you to feast upon. We're at a critical juncture in time. And with that critical junction in time, we are prepped and ready. We're in the resistance and we are resisting. Political prisoner N57912. President accounted for. How about you? Listen, today is a great day. This is going to be a day of fire. Fire. It's going to be a great day of fire. When you come in, and if you're not in the room yet, and anybody come in the room, I want you to put fire on the timeline. Fire is coming. Fire is coming. Listen, the master teacher is about to get ready to come into your eye gates, into your ear gates. But here's what I want to say before the master teacher come and present what he's going to present to you. Fire is coming. 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 Listen, family, y'all know how we do this. We give ourselves an opportunity to populate. That's why I'm talking now, just to give us an opportunity to populate so that when the master teacher comes in, he can go ahead on and hit it and quit it. Yeah. He's going to be strong, but not long. He's going to hit it and quit it for you so that you can get it. It's an upheaval. It's an uprising on the plantation. Who turned into corporation. There's an uprising. Listen. Oh, it's about to blow. 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 Come on, family. Come on, family. Come on, family. Come on, family. Fire is coming. I'm trying to read the master teacher's computer. Said it's about to blow. It's about to blow. It's about to blow. 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 Fire. Fire. All right, I see y'all coming in the room. I see your namesake. What's up, Clay? Hey, Rhonda, what's going on? Hey, y'all, it's happening. It's getting ready to go down. Hey, Cynthia. Yes. Fire's coming. Listen. Get ready, because it's coming today. I guarantee you it's going to flow for you. Things that have been clogged up and stuffed up. Come on, kid. We're about to pull the plug. And it's going to open up and things are going to begin to drain and flow for you. This is what's getting ready to happen. Come on, family, let's populate. Let's share. Come on, move it around, move it around, move it around. Fire is coming, fire is coming, fire is coming today, now. Fire. Oh, fire is coming. Oh, y'all better tell somebody what's up, Hank. Money. Hey, Jazzy, the Empress is in the house. It's fire day today. Listen, also, the color red, I need you to go over and check out Jazzy. See what that red means in that chakra? Listen, we're networking. I'm telling you right now, we're networking. Listen, all of the pieces to the puzzle are getting ready to come together. We're networking. Listen, I got a piece to the puzzle. I have a fragment. Listen, Jazzy has a fragment. Listen, others of you have fragments. The master teacher. Listen, we are all, coming together to share this information. Come on here, to build each other. But one thing that's going to forge this and bring it together is fire. Fire forges. You can't forge anything without fire. You can't have a movement without fire. You can't put together a plan without fire. Oh yeah, fire. Oh yeah. They're still talking about the young people that are out there doing what they're doing. The young people got to turn up. They got to turn the fire up. They have to turn it up because the fire got to come. The fire must burn. The fire, come on here, because it brings. Come on here, heals. It moves. It shakes. Come on here. It puts things in order. Fire. Oh, it was water last time. Oh, we can scientifically prove that it was water last time. Oh yeah, the element this time is fire. Oh yeah, I know we're in Aquarius. I know it's water, but it's fire. But listen. Come on, y'all, share it. Come on, get it up, get it up. We're not moving these numbers. Come on. Come on, move these numbers. Move these numbers. Come on. Come on, Comprised family, listen. Listen, family, it's finna get ready to turn up. Y'all need to understand that we have the boiling point. Come on here. Fire, come on here. It's heating us up. Come on, it's boiling. Come on. Can't nobody see that we keep saying stop. S-T-O-P, stop. And the last time I seen the stop sign, it was red with writing on it. Hello, somebody. Oh, the fire is turning up. Come on, listen. We're at the boiling point. It's about to blow. Come on. Let's get it a little bit hotter. Turn it up. Come on. One more time. Let's turn it up. Turn it up. Yes, indeed, family. Listen, the master teacher is on his way. He's getting ready to come in here and set it on fire. He's going to lay it out for you. That quantum, he's taking us into the quantum realm. I need y'all to know where we're going and traveling in this season. He's opening up a portal for us to get back into the realm of possibilities. Listen to what I'm telling you. He's opening up that portal, and I need you to focus on, come on here, when it opens, to get every possibility that belongs to you. Listen, every possibility that belongs to you is going to be presented to you today. Good, right, wrong, indifferent, good and not so good. It's going to be offered to you. And it's yours. Oh, come on here. And it's yours. I'm going to share this with you, and I'm going to get out of the way because the master teacher's on his way. And as the Empress said, Jazzy Michelle. And if y'all don't know who that is, y'all need to check her out, man. That girl is bad. Don't meet him there, beat him there. Because he has something for us. He's pregnant with it, and he's going to travail today, and y'all going to pull it up out of it so it can give birth today. It's yours. Come on, family. It's yours. 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 It's yours, is it yours? Yeah. It's yours, is it yours? Come on, family. It belongs to you. Come on, possibilities, probability, potential, purpose. It's yours, is it yours? It's yours, is it yours? It's yours, is it yours? Okay, family, check this out. All right, we get ready to go in. I need you to hear me, and you'll hear me well. Listen, this thing is getting ready to blow. I was out yesterday. Quickly. Still giving us a little time here to populate because the numbers are still down a little bit. But listen, I was going out to pick up some products on yesterday, and I had purposed in my first mind that I was going to go to Publix and pick up a couple of items and then just come on back to the house because Publix is right around the corner from my house. But the Spirit spoke to me and said, no, go to Kroger's. So I said, okay, I'm going to Kroger's. So I get to Kroger's, I pull up in the parking lot at Kroger's. And there were some people out in the parking lot. I paid attention to them, but I didn't pay attention to them because I pay attention to everything. What I was focused on was I'm going here to get these few little items and head back to the house because I was engaging in something. So at any rate, I got out of the vehicle. When I got out of the vehicle, the whole spirit realm was off. So I seen about 3 young Thundercats. And they were getting the shopping carts and they were lining them up to take them back in. But one of the young fellas, he was aggressive with the shopping carts. To turn them, he took them and shook them. And he said, if anybody called me the N-word, I'm going to hit them. And I just stopped. And I said, what is going on, man? And they said, well, the manager of the entire store, because one of the associates wouldn't come in, called him a nigger. I don't care nothing about the word nigger because I know what it actually really means. I don't care if you call me one. Thank you. Thank you for calling me God. I know what it means. But here's what struck me. Here's what struck me was I hadn't seen that spirit. Since 1968. These young people were in the parking lot with signs saying, hey, don't go on here, man. We ain't taking this shit no more. I hadn't seen that spirit since 1968 when I was in Memphis, Tennessee, marching for the sanitation workers. That spirit is back. It ain't nobody that's gonna be able to corral it and stop it and direct it. It's going to do what it's designed to do. It's here to do what it's designed to do. And we're going to put fire on it. We're going to put fire on it. You need to be calling fire in your prayer meditation time. It ain't going to be no peace. It ain't going to be no peace but fire. When the master came, when the master teacher, the true Messiah, that is a minute, came and said, I came not to bring peace, but a sword. Turn up the fire! Turn up the fire! Turn the fire up. Turn the fire up. Turn the fire up. You only delayed it with these little soft little prayers talking about, Lord, please, peace. Ain't gonna be no peace. Get out the way, preacher man, because you keep lying. Get out the way, Imam, because you keep lying. Get out of the way, Bishop, because you keep lying. Get out of the way, Pope, because you keep lying. Get out of the way, religious people, because you keep lying. It's time. It's time to turn up the fire. Turn up the fire. Oh, yes, you time to turn it up. Turn up the fire. I hadn't seen that spirit since 1968. And it's high time that we revisit it. I told you all we were in retrograde. Gotta go back. Gotta go back. 2020 is hindsight. You gotta go back. It's all in front of us. You can't see it because you're trying to see past it and see through it. You can't see nothing over there because you got to go back to see forward. You got to go back to see forward. You got to go back to see forward. Without further ado. Without further ado. Sing the song. Introduce it to others. None other than the master teacher, T.E. Harris. Give him a black hand. Give him a black hand. Give him a black hand. Oh, come on, come on, come on. I know you can do better than that. Come on, come on. Let's do better than that. Listen, the one has got it hot up in here. And listen, I'm getting ready to drop some information on you that's going to burn some things up.
It's going to take us to a place where we could catch those things that have been nestled up on the inside of us. The place of quantum where we can leap to a location of information where information is going to beget information. Listen, I want you to stay tuned. Sit back, relax, gather in. Man, it's time to go there. Listen, I don't know about you, but listen, it's hot up in here. It's time to burn some things up. And listen, I'm ready with this information. Listen, let's go ahead and jump right into it. We're talking about, as a matter of fact, it's about the classification of matter. And listen, I want you to know that it's a spinoff of what the one has been talking about. So now I've got to take this to part 2 where I left off before, because there's some other information we need right now to help us get to that place of quantum. The place of quantum mechanics, the place of quantum leap, quantum mathematics. And it's going to burn some things up today. We're going to deal with this. Before I go any further, what I want to do is quote something that the one gave us in one of his dissertations, in one of the truth sessions. But let's give the one a black hand before I go any further. Yes, indeed. True indeed. Let's talk about this. Let me go right into this. And I'm going to put this out on the timeline, but I want to hone in on what the one said, because it's going to be our precursor, our prelude to where I'm going today. Let me go ahead and put this out here. Listen, I'm excited. It's good to see all of your faces in the place. It's time for this information to resonate. And listen, throughout this broadcast, I want you to share. Keep the fire going. The fire is already here. Keep on sending out those emojis. Watch what the one says. If you can see that on the timeline, come on and give me those thumbs up. In fact, put some fire out there if you can see that. This information is going to be posted under the teacher will appear. All right. And listen, don't forget to let us know where you're hailing from. That's very important. We want to know where that fire is coming from. We want to know where you're launching from. We want to know where you're going. So let us know where you're hailing from. Watch what this says. The one said this, and the fact is truth, and truth is a matter of fact. Part 2. Watch this. Our stress levels are up, and it's turning off our immune system. Our bodies are in tune with the universe. Our bodies are going to build our genetics. Man, this is powerful. Our bodies automatically make adjustments. The environment dictates to our bodies what our bodies are going to do, how our genetics are going to build themselves, how our genetics are going to respond in our environment. So you have to look at how our genetics are being built because of our environment. And so whatever's in our environment should not be in our environment. We need to get it out of it. Watch this. So if there is something foreign coming into our environment and we haven't been introduced to it, then our bodies don't know how to react to it. So now you have to look at the encounter that the one just had recently that he just finished talking about. Man, there's something entering into our environment that's causing a disruption. But by the same token, listen, he said, whether good, bad, indifferent, listen, if it's bad, listen, it has a purpose. So something's going to happen because it has a purpose. So now you've just turned up the fire with these young people. Listen, they've turned it up and they don't have any thoughts or any ideas of putting that fire out. So watch this. So now you have to see how things have affected us. And I want to talk about something. I want to go back to something that I dealt with. That's going to be the backdrop, the precursor to where I'm going. We talked about hematidrosis or hematohidrosis, which representing an occurrence where blood is actually coming through the sweat glands. Where there should be liquid, there is blood proceeding out of those sweat glands. And so what happens is, because of the flight situation, it brings about this disorder. So now the one has been talking about that. you'll go to that place of fight or flight. And so now you look at what's happening with COVID-19, it's taking us to those outer extremities. And so because of that, it could put you in a state where now you've brought forth fight or flight, which could also bring about hematidrosis or to hematohidrosis. Excuse me, let me go ahead and put that back out there because I want it on the timeline. And I'm going to go into some other information real quickly. Stick with me here. We're going somewhere. We're building. I got some information for you. I know it's going to edify you. It's going to bless you. And I'll read it as it populates. Watch this. Hematidrosis or hematohidrosis is a very rare medical condition that causes you to ooze or sweat blood from your skin where there is no cut or injury. Watch this. Symptoms. People who have hematidrosis may sweat blood from their skin. It usually happens on or around the face. But the skin might be lining the inside of your body, too, like your nose, mouth, or stomach. The skin around the bloody area may swell temporarily. So now you have to see what's happening. Things are starting to swell. Things are heating up. You look at what's going on. You see it all on Facebook. You see it in YouTube. You see it at various media outlets. Things are starting to swell. Listen, it's getting ready to blow. Watch this. Crying tears of blood is related. It's called hemorrhaging. Bleeding from the ears is called otorrhea. So now we see these conditions that are trying to manifest because of what's happening in our environment. Listen, injustice is happening. Now they're stoking fear with COVID-19. Listen, I'm not worried about Corona, Budweiser, Michelob, any of those. Why? Because I have an understanding. I'm not worrying about those attachments that they've placed, or should I say stimuli that they've placed before us to cause us to react to it. It's a controlling mechanism. It's causing our systems to be off from the top to the bottom. They're trying to cause our systems to be out of line. And listen, as the one said, listen, you need to go and go to Jazzy Jazz Michelle's website, man, and listen to that information because it's powerful. I was listening to it this morning. All it did was just amp me up and then get right in here in the one, drop that fire on us. Listen, it's getting hot up in here. Watch this. That's dealing with hematidrosis and what it's doing. Now, I want to go somewhere with you. Just recapping a little bit so I can take you further. It's good to be redundant. I didn't say rote. I said redundant. Redundancy is good. Redundancy builds a platform in you. It builds a base, a foundation. It gives you a place to launch from. Listen, I've been with the one over half of my life. And he's still saying some things that he said back then. So, man, it's why well over 20 years, I'm still hearing the same thing because he's just building from it. Why? Redundancy is good. Now, let me put something else on this timeline. How many of you know that information for us is good? That's what's going to help us. It's information. Information that causes what? Transformation. Now, according to Mary Bagley from Live Science, she said something and it just, again, connects to what the one talked about. And I'm going to briefly hit some of these states of matter, but I'm putting it in stages so that you can see the development of things. All right? Watch what she says. We're talking about, all right, let me go back and grab that one more time so that you can see this. We're talking about matter. All right. There we go. If you can see that, come on and give me those thumbs up. Give me those emojis. Go ahead and drop some fire. Listen, once again, keep the fire going. Drop some fire on that timeline. Watch what she says. Matter is the stuff that makes up the universe. Everything that takes up space and has mass is matter. Listen, the one has been drumming that home. He's been talking about energy. He's been talking about mass. He's been talking about matter. All of this is interrelated. Now, all matter is made up of atoms, which are in turn made up of protons, neutrons, electrons. What was the one talking about a little earlier before he introduced me? Protons, neutrons, electrons. So now we see matter is made up of atoms, which is a makeup of protons, neutrons, and electrons. So now, previously I talked about the different states. What were those states? Solid, liquid, gas. We talked about the condensate and also plasma. So just to have the information on the timeline, I'm going to briefly insert some information regarding those three states. If you want that full effect, just go back to part 1 and it'll just give you the information that we need. But just to give you some of this information on the timeline, I want you to see this. I'm going to put it out there. We're talking about building blocks here. All right, I just posted something regarding solids. I just gave you some liquid information. All right, let me drop this gas on you. Keep in mind, we're talking about, even within us, we're a makeup of gases, solids, liquids. So all of this has everything to do with us. So now I'm just not talking about something way out there in the farther. I'm talking about right here at home. The makeup of liquids, solids, gases. Now, the state that I want to get to is plasma. Watch this. Watch how this information builds. This is the piece that I'm going to read, and we're going to talk about this here. All right, let me know if you can see that information on plasma. All right, let me post it one more time. It's not showing up on mine, but I'll get that here for you in a second. All right, there we go. All right. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this plasma state. Very important. Watch what it says here. Now, plasma is not common or not a common state of matter here on Earth, but it may be the most common state of matter in the universe, according to Jefferson Laboratory. Watch this. Stars are essentially superheated balls of plasma. So plasma consists of highly charged particles with extremely high kinetic energy.
Yes, sir.
Watch this. The noble gases, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon are often used to make glowing signs by using electricity to ionize them to the plasma state. Now, you have to see when you're talking about ionization. During ionization, some elements, what happens is they either gain a positive electron or they lose. So you're going to get a plus state or a negative state. The outer shell electrons, what happens is they branch off and connect to something else. But watch this. In the original state, whatever they connect to, they try to become it.
Come on. Talk about it.
Oh, my goodness. So now, whether they gain or lose electrons, when they try to get to the next state, they try to become what it is. So when I join forces with the one, some things I left off. Some things I let break off. Some things I gathered. I gathered some positive charges. I released some negative charges. And guess what happened? Because of my ionization, I became just like him. I became what I was connecting and releasing over to. Why? Because those were valence electrons. They have the ability to connect to other elements. And so what they do is take on plus or minus charges and become ionized. Watch this. Now, so we're talking about plasma. Wow, we see a big plasma sitting out there in the sky. Better known as the sun. Yes. So now we're talking about plasma, right? Now, get ready to go somewhere. I see you, Brother Dwayne Clayton. Yes, indeed. Greetings. Oh, my goodness. Listen, I'm not trying to proselytize you here, but I am getting ready to reach back to our sacred text, not the Bible. That's erroneous. Back to our sacred text, and I'm getting ready to release some information on you. We're talking about plasma. All right. If you can see that, come on, give me those emojis. Give me the hearts. Give me the thumbs. Hit that share button while you have a moment while it's populating. And listen, I don't mind if you drop some fire on it. All right. Watch this. Exodus 15, 7 through 8. Watch what it says. And again, this is just a backdrop. It's another precursor to where I'm going. So watch what it says. And in the greatness of thine excellency, thou hast overthrown them that rose up against thee. Thou sentest forth thy wrath, the word which was added, consumed them as stubble. Verse 8, watch this. And the blast of thy nostrils, the waters were gathered together. The flood stood upright as an heap. The depths were congealed in the heart of the sea. You have to realize that sea represent men. And so the one has been telling us that, this is an allegory, right? So we're talking about the blast of the nostrils and that the waters were congealed. Watch what this says. The word congeal, 7087 in the Hebrew, it's the word kafar. Guess what it means? It means to thicken. It means to condense. It also means to heap up, and it means to collect. So we see that the waters were congealed. They thickened, they condensed. There was a heap, and they collected. Watch what this means. Let me give you the other definitions. Somebody know where I'm going. Watch this. So the waters were congealed. Let me give you now additive definitions as to what those words are. Come on, real quickly, give me those thumbs up. Give me those emojis. If you can see that, give me the thumbs up. So the waters were congealed. The waters thickened. They condensed. Watch what congeal means. According to Merriam-Webster College Dictionary, it means to change from a liquid to a solid state. That sounds like the state of matter to me. By or as if by code. Watch this according to dictionary.com. To change from a liquid or solid state to a thick or solid state. As in the blood had congealed in thick black clots. Hold on. Congealed from vocabulary.com. To gel, to solidify or become gelatinous. The last one from the Free Dictionary. It means to solidify or to coagulate. Wait a minute. So now if you go back to some of the earlier teachings, the one was telling us that was an allegory. It was about birth. It was about giving birth. It had nothing to do with someone being drowned in the Red Sea. So here, congealed here means to coagulate. It means to thicken. In other words, that's another state. That was the plasma state. That's representing blood coagulating. So now we see that our counterparts and everything that they're doing regarding this COVID-19 is trying to cause us to stress out so that the ability to coagulate will be off. Will be off. And I'm going to show you how powerful and how important coagulation is. So we see these definitions here. Watch this. Let me talk about coagulation in a minute. Because what it's doing, it's taking us to a place where we're leaping far beyond what we've read. It's taking us to a place where now we're starting to see a little bit clearer what's happening to us. Okay? Now, watch this. I want to talk about coagulation. So the water's coagulated. So it went to a certain state. And I'm going to get back to those transformations here in a minute and show you just how powerful all this information, how powerful it is and how it connects. And listen, I'm telling you, none of this is fortuitous. If you look back at prior teachings, what I'm saying connects with what the one has already said. And oftentimes you're going to get that connection because I'm listening when he's teaching. And so mine is just a spin-off or a nugget for what he dropped. So look at this. And listen, as our very own Empress Jazzy Michelle is placed out on the timeline, listen, it behooves you to give. That's how we keep things rolling. Because whether you know it or not, I'm going to deal with that next. It's going to deal with quantum currency. Hold tight. Coming back at you next week with dealing with quantum currency. But watch this. I'm going to show you something here. We're talking about coagulation. Is that correct? Watch this, family. Come on, let me know if you can see that. All right, give me those thumbs up if you can see that definition of coagulation. All right, watch this. Coagulation from Britannica. Coagulation in physiology, the process by which a blood clot is formed. The formation of a blood clot is often referred to as secondary hemostasis, having the ability to stop hemorrhaging. All right? Now, watch this. Because it forms the second stage in the process of arresting the loss of blood from a ruptured vessel. So what happens with hematidrosis? A ruptured vessel, right? So now this fight or flight stage takes us to a place where now we're experiencing this disorder. But what's important here is having the ability to coagulate. Now, the first stage, primary hemostasis is characterized by blood vessel constriction or vasoconstriction and platelet aggregation at the site of the vessel injury. Under abnormal circumstances, clots can also form in a vessel that has not been breached. Such clots can result in occlusion or blockage of the vessel, and this is also see thrombosis. So now we see having the ability to coagulate, right? So now it's not fortuitous how our sacred text talking about the waters congealing, right? So congeal means to turn into a gel-like substance, which means to clot as blood, but it also means to coagulate. Watch this. I'm going to show you how people are benefiting based on what I'm talking about. Let me drop this other information on you. This is from Jewish Market Research. JewishLife.com. Watch this. So what does all of this have to do with COVID-19, coronavirus, and the likes? Watch this. Corona impact. It says, its coagulation testing market will propel with its advanced approaches in 2020, right? Wait a minute. It says corona impact. And also it's dealing with coagulation. So now you see our sacred text talking about the waters congealed, which translates to coagulation. Here it says corona impact with coagulation. Watch this. Post-COVID-19 impact on coagulation testing market. It says, with the emergence of the COVID-19 crisis, the world is fighting a health pandemic as well as an economic emergency, almost impacting trillions of dollars of revenues. Research Dive group of skilled analysts provide a solution to help the companies to survive and sustain in this economic crisis. Watch this. We support companies to make informed decisions based on our findings resulting from comprehensive study by our qualified team of experts. So now we see how companies are planning to benefit from COVID-19 when it comes to coagulation research. Wow. Let me show you how lucrative this market is. So now you're going to see why they're pushing COVID-19, coronavirus. You look up, there's cases everywhere. It just doesn't make sense at all. But now, based on this information, yes, it does make sense. Watch this. Come on, give me those thumbs up if you can see that information. I want it to be in your eye gates as well as your ear gates. Listen, once again, come on and keep the feed going. Hit that share button. Hit that share button. All right, watch this. So we're talking about researchdive.com. It says, pre-COVID-19 analysis of coagulation testing market. Watch what it says. As per the study of Research Dive, coagulation testing market forecasts a revenue of $3,566.0 million in 2026. In other words, that's $3.5 billion. So $3.5 billion growing at healthy GA or CAGR of 5.9%. So we're seeing a 5.9% growth. So by 2026, the research regarding coagulation as it connects to COVID-19 is going to be over $3 billion, almost $4 billion. Wow. So coagulation test is primarily carried out by a coagulometer that detects blood clotting time, and blood's ability to clot. It says consistent technological advancement in coagulation testing devices is driving the growth of the market. So now they're driving this testing. They're driving coagulation testing. They're driving this, get tested, COVID-19 testing. It's driving the market. It's causing this market to soar. And so they're looking at an increase of almost, again, $4 billion by 2026. That's just one area. Watch this. Let me show you the other area, and I'm just going to post these numbers so you can see, man, how deep this really is. All right, watch this. Consumable type has a major share in global coagulation testing market. It will generate a revenue of $1.8 billion at the end of 2026. So now there's another growth rate. Prothrombine, watch this, generating a revenue of $2.4 billion. Hospitals, $1.2 or $1.3 billion. So it's generating all of this finance, all of these finances based on coagulation testing as it connects to COVID-19. So now you can see why they're amping this market up. They're amping up the testing. You got those who are trying to come up with this serum so that we all can be injected with this nonsense. It's driving up the market. It's fueling the market. But watch this. I want to put some of these companies out here that's associated with it, that stand to benefit from this testing. All right, watch this. Companies like Medtronic, Micropoint Biosciences, Helena Laboratories Corporation, Thermo Fisher Scientific Incorporation, Abbott, F. Hoffman, La Roche Ltd, BD Nyan Coden Corporation, Seismex Corporation, and Danaher. All of these companies are standing to benefit from the testing, this coagulation testing market research. So you can see now the connection between COVID-19 and coagulation, which represents what? One of the states, plasma state, one of our state of matter. So now if they can affect our state of matter with stress and cause us to react to it, guess what? It takes their market up. We're reacting to it. We're panicking. It's shutting down our immune system, as the one said. It's compromising our immune system. So everything is in line. It's throwing our energy levels off. We're so far out of sorts and out of balance. Why? Because of fear, because of anxiety, because of worry. And so now those things have us doing things we shouldn't be doing. So now our lives are topsy-turvy because we're reacting to stimuli. We're reacting to lies, and we're trying to make them a truth. But I submit to you here, we're giving you truth here at the truth session, where you perpetually get truth so that it can rid you of those things that have been told unto you. So now we're bringing good things to life here, as GE would say. Now, I want to go somewhere else, and we're going to talk about these different states real quickly. I'm going to drop this information on you. So now let's go back to the states of matter. In fact, let me go ahead and draw your attention here to the board. Let's look at this. Here are our states of matter. And again, as I shared with you in part one, there are more than 5 states. There's better than 22 states of matter and growing. These are the common ones we talk about. But look at this. We have the gaseous state, liquid and solid. So now we can go from the liquid state, freeze, to the solid state. We can go from the solid state directly to the gaseous state by a process called sublimation. And we can go from the gaseous state down to the liquid state by a process called condensation. So now we can take a liquid, and as it begins to evaporate, it becomes a gas. So now you've seen it time and time again where it rains, everything is soaked. It's in a liquid state. All of a sudden, boom, it begins to evaporate, goes back up, it becomes a gaseous state. But you can go directly from a solid state to a gaseous state by a process called sublimation. I have it here written on the board. Sublimation. Now, watch this. What is the root word in sublimation? Sublime. Let me write this up here. I want you to see that. The root word in sublimation is sublime. And I'm going to give you a quick definition, then I'm going right back to the board. So let me put this out here on the timeline real quickly about sublimation. Oh man, this is powerful. Now the first thing I'm going to do is give you the information regarding those 3 states, because there comes a time when we can operate in those 3 states. So the first part, it says, there is also a point known as a triple point, representing the perfection of man, where solids, liquids, and gases all exist simultaneously. Wow.
They say that again.
There comes a point called triple point, where solids, liquids, and gases all exist at the same time, simultaneously. They exist simultaneously. Watch this. Now, the one has been taught, I'm telling you, tap right into my information, as he always does. Water, for example, exists in all 3 states at a temperature of 273 degrees Kelvin. So now at 273.16 degree Kelvin, all 3 of those states are enacted.
Wow.
At a pressure of 611.2 pascals. So now there has to be pressure applied to it. So now we see this atmospheric pressure being placed on the situation. That's exactly why you see all this upheaval right now, because they're putting pressure on them. They're putting pressure on them. They're putting heat.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I was about to tell Jazz, that's why I asked her about Calvin. I asked her if she knew somebody by the name of Calvin. She said it doesn't ring a bell. So Calvin is now putting that pressure, ain't it?
So Calvin, we see this putting that pressure out there. You hear that very own Empress Jazzy Jazz. That's an inside joke, you all. Listen, so we see that pressure from Calvin being put 273 degrees Kelvin. You know, we deal with Celsius, Fahrenheit, but the one that's really not talked about is Kelvin. They're all connected. They're conversion. Oh, my goodness. So now, at those states, we see that water takes on all 3 temperatures. It exists in all 3 states. Let me get to sublimation. My goodness. I told you there was going to be a major connection here.
When you get that, when you get sublimation done, check your timeline, because Jazz and them put some good stuff out there.
Yes, sir. In fact, before I give you sublimation, I'm going to go ahead and jump out here.
Al B just came in the room.
We see our brother Al B. Al B, good to see you, man. In the room. Our very own sister Jazzy Jazz said, fear, anxiety, worry, anger. Yes, indeed. Sister Rhonda Moore said, teach, master teacher. Gratitude, gratitude. All right. All right, let me go back up here and see. You see Sister K.D. Hall dropped them bombs on us. We see the family dropping the fire. Yes, indeed.
Jazzy said most of it, I don't know if you see it, but she said most of the pharmaceutical companies that manufacture the drugs, doctors push on us.
Yes, indeed. Listen, they're all in cahoots with one another. They're Yes, this is my very own Sister Jazzy Jazz said the consumable types has a major share in global coagulation testing market. Absolutely correct. It will generate, let's see.
Yeah, get more. No. Oh, that one is pink.
Oh, okay.
That she's just talking about that right there, back here.
Okay. Okay.
Pharmaceuticals.
Yes, most of the pharmaceutical companies that manufacture the drugs doctors push on us. That's absolutely categorically correct. She said, we have been duped. We are the lab rats. Yes, indeed. All right. All right, our very own Sister K.D. Hall said, listen, subscribe to the YouTube channel, THEEONE exclamation point. And also our very own Sister Jazzy Michelle, the Empress, she said, please follow The One on YouTube. That's https://YouTube. Yes, The One. Gratitude, gratitude. Let's see what else we have here. See, our brother Dwayne Mack is watching. Latricia Freeman, greetings. Kelly Horton, listen, y'all up in here, up in the house today. Gratitude. Oh, I gotta drop this sublimation on you, and I'm gonna get off you today. But you've got to, my goodness. Let me quickly talk about sublimation. I'm going to show you where I'm going. Keep in mind, the root word in sublimation is sublime. All right, I just placed the definition of sublimation on the timeline, and I'm going to read it to you for the sake of time. But if you see that, go ahead and give me those emojis. Watch this. When a solid is converted directly into a gas without going through a liquid phase. Wait a minute. So a solid converted directly into a gas without going into a liquid phase. That's representing the ability to quantum leap. Yes, sir. All right, let me shout out Sister Jazzy Jazz, Empress Jazz. Just donated. Listen. Donate. It's very important that you do that. And listen, she is an avid donator. The one shouts you out all the time. Listen, those of you who donate, please continue to do so. We're building our own base. We're not expecting anyone to come in and rescue us. So it's important that we donate. Donate. That's how we keep things rolling on. That's how we make connections. That's how we get from place to place. That's how we send out information. Take this opportunity to share this information and listen. Those you're connected with, let them know this. It's okay. It's okay to donate as well. Keep it flowing. Keep the currency flowing. As this information is populated on sublimation, listen, let me take a quick station identification break with our very own Sister K.D. Hall. Oh, come on in here to one. Yes, indeed. True indeed. Our very own creation from Sister K.D. Y'all saw the one in the film. Yes, indeed. All right. Let me go to this definition here. Watch what it says. We read the first part, but I'll read it again. When a solid is converted directly into a gas without going through a liquid phase, the process is known as sublimation. This may occur either when the temperature of the same or the sample is rapidly increased beyond the boiling point. Yes. What was the one talking about today? Going beyond that boiling point.
Yes, had no idea what was talking about that.
Watch this. Flash vaporization, or when a substance is freeze-dried by cooling it under vacuum conditions so that the water in the substance undergoes sublimation and is removed from the sample. Watch this. A few volatile substances will undergo sublimation at room temperature and pressure, such as frozen carbon dioxide or dry ice. So now, I've got to go back here. So the root word in sublimation is sublime, right?
Yes.
Watch this. I'm going to read another definition, and I'm going to put something in your eye gates. Definition of sublime. In fact, I have to put this on the timeline and not just read it to you. All right. The word sublime. Watch what it means. Of high moral, aesthetic, intellectual, or spiritual value. Whoa. It means noble. Wait a minute, we talked about that. Nobility, the choices, preferred above others. So sublime means noble, preferred above others, intellectual, aesthetically pleasing, with high morals, high values. It means exalted, inspiring deep veneration, awe, or uplifting emotion because of its beauty, nobility, grandeur, or immensity. It means unparalleled. Listen, right now, I want you to type on the timeline sublime. Do that for me real quickly. Because the information is unparalleled. We're unparalleled. In other words, we're unmatched. Supremia, sublime compliment. It also means poetic, of proud bearing or aspect. In other words, I'm so proud of what I'm doing, I'm poetic with it. Oh my goodness. I'm full of intellectualism that I'm poetic with it. I'm aesthetically pleasing. I'm noble. I'm exalted to a place. Come on and listen. Don't let anybody tell you, you've got to be humble. A word that doesn't exist. You've got to be humble. You can't.
Low and meek and mild.
You got to be so low and meek and mild that you can't be exalted. Listen, we worship one another.
That's right.
We worship our queens. All praises. Come on. Be unto one another. Listen, you cannot take anything from the Almighty One. So don't let religious folk fool you and say, you can't worship nobody. Okay. Listen, I worship myself. I can't worship you until I worship me. That's having a love for myself. The one that's talked about that last week. You got to have a healthy self-interest in order for you to have a healthy self-interest to somebody else. But watch this, sublime. So now, how many of you remember or recall the movie Sublime with Lawrence Hilton Jacob? You know, from the one from Welcome Back Kotter, the brother from Welcome Back Kotter. The movie Sublime. I'm going to show you what's happening out here in this theater. What this attempt to do to us is projecting. Watch this. I want you to see this. I want you to see this photo.
Pastor, quickly while you're doing that,
yes.
Read this comment from Empress Jazzy.
Yes.
She says, they know that we are angry about injustice and police brutality, so our immune systems is lowered. Therefore, blacks have to be the culprit because they understand the science or the coagulation that you mentioned, coagulation and math, meaning money, behind corona. Exactly what you're saying.
That's powerful. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Empress Jazzy Jazz. That's absolutely correct. Boy, she's hitting it.
Yes, sir.
My goodness. Powerful information. You see how all this information tie in? Now, I want you to hold in on this picture here. Can you all see that? What's the title of this movie?
Sublime.
Sublime. What does it say here?
Says,
when what you fear becomes real.
yes.
Wait a minute. I thought sublime meant nobility. I thought it meant intellectualism. I thought it meant deep veneration, inspiration, exalted, spiritual value, high morals, to be in awe, to be uplifted emotionally. It means grandeur. immensity, beauty, unparalleled, poetically proud. That's what sublime means. But look at this. Sublime, when what you fear becomes real. So, looking at this and this movie, that's negativity. Let me read the plot to you. I'm going to read the synopsis real quickly and the plot. And I'm going to show you what they're doing. Let me give you this synopsis real quickly. From imdb.com. And I want you to see that. I'm going to stand right here because I want you to see this sublime while I'm reading it. It says, on the surface, now this is the synopsis of the movie, Sublime. It was 2007. It says, on the surface, this is a disturbing and thought-provoking journey from a mundane medical procedure to merciful suicide. A typical 40-year-old man goes to a hospital for a routine colonoscopy. And through a symphony of errors, he is reduced to a bedridden amputee suffering from bizarre hallucinations, including a stereotypical hot young nurse, an unfaithful wife, and a sadistic orderly with pruning shears. That's the shears you see. That's the nurse. It says, meanwhile, his attentive family and devoted doctor are helpless and don't even realize the agony he is enduring. Eventually, he escapes his terrifying existence the only possible way left to him. But it says here, but that's merely the skin of the story. Now, let me show you something here. This part blew me away. Look at this. Now, all those powerful definitions I gave you, look what this movie is saying. Watch this. Give you this second part here. It says on a deeper level, it is an examination of U.S. foreign policy. Whoa. So watch this. On a deeper level, it is an examination of U.S. foreign policy, government error, or possibly conspiracy, and the demise of Western civilization embodied in George Bush, whom the writer deemed grievously ill. So now we see a movie depicting evil based on its plot. But yet the word sublime, if you look at the definition of it, it represents going from a solid state to a gaseous state, or representing the ability to be honored and worshiped and adored, to be intellectual. But yet this movie is talking about hallucination. It's talking about a plot where a man, day after his 40th birthday, the family man, a computer analyst, George Greaves, goes to Mount Abaddon Hospital. Wait a minute. Oh, so he went to Mount Abaddon Hospital. You have to see that with this narrative in Apocalypse, they talked about Abaddon in the Hebrew or Apollyon in the Greek, talking about a place of evil, a place of abyss, a place of death. So they're connecting this to sublime. Let me continue reading this portion. It says, so now at Mount Abaddon Hospital for a routine colonoscopy with Dr. Shirazi. At his birthday party, his friends and family told many cases of medical error. exactly what they're doing now. Medical error saying COVID-19, you go in for a fingernail issue, a hangnail, and they're telling you got COVID-19. So watch this. After the surgery, George finds that his surgery had complications because of harmonious patients. And he had received a thoracoscopic, sympathectomy instead. While intern, George discloses bizarre and dark secrets at the east wing of the hospital while his wife and family have to make decisions about his life. That was the plot. And I'm going to put that out there just so you had that information out there. You have to see exactly what I'm saying. There is a plot. There is a plot to push evil, to push erroneous information, to put you in a place of continual fight or flight so that your body can react to it. It's shutting down everything that you ever believe in. Listen, you have some of the healthiest people getting sick, not because something's happening to them, but this movie Sublime talked about it. Major hallucinations. So they're putting you in a place where you really feel that you're sick. And listen, boy, this mind is so powerful that you actually can feel sick and become sick. But by the same token, your mind can be so powerful that you'll think you're well and you'll become well. How do I know? I did it as a kid. I loved school so much that I didn't want to miss one day of school. So there are times when I got sick, I maybe caught a cold or something, had a fever or whatever, and didn't want to miss school. Listen, I told myself I was well. My mother asked me, how you feeling? I'm doing fine. I'm well because I wanted to go to school so badly. Listen, I got to school, performed, got home. There was nothing wrong with me. Why? I told myself I was well, that I wasn't sick. So now we see here that Sublime is introducing something that's real subtle with it. Introducing some sickness, some hallucinations, some things that'll take us from that place of being intellectual giants to a place of just lowly, meek, and mild. Lowly, meek, and mild. Listen, I can't walk in a place of intellectualism because I've got to be humble. I'm sorry. I got to be humble. I got to be lowly, meek, and mild. So as I begin to grow and I release information, I got to be humble. I want to be haughty and high-minded. I'm trying to get as high as I possibly can. I'm trying to get so fat that I got to turn sideways to get through the door. And listen, that's right now, in this time, we need information. We got to figure out how to strategize, how to do things that are just going to cause us to superabound above this situation. But that's very powerful. So going from a state of being solid to sublimation, where you can see how what's being inserted takes away from how we should be thinking. So we're going into a place of quantum leap here, from one state to the next that's unusual, to a state of when what you fear becomes real. So your worst fears become real. Wow. If you look at the narrative of Ayub, some call Job in our sacred text, he said, the thing I feared the most came upon me. So he feared going to that state of losing everything, losing his family. And he feared it. And he said it, the thing that I feared the most has come upon me. So now look at what is happening to us. They're placing these outlandish fears. They want the human and woman to fear. Can't leave our doorsteps. Can't leave the house and go to various places. Why? Because the ones who are supposed to be protecting everyone is causing terror, reigning terror. So they want to institute fear. When you do that, everything shuts down. Listen, I submit to you that as a matter of fact, it's about the classification of matter, all states of matter, all places that will take us to a place where we can superabound, where we can pass information along, where we can be strengthened, where we can be fortified. Anytime we need to release some fire, we can release some fire. If I need to burn it up, I'm going to burn it up. If I take it to a place of a solid state, I'm going to put it in a place of solid. If I need to go from a solid state to a gaseous state, I understand how to do that as well. Why? By speaking those things that will cause me to go to the place of being intellectual, to be in honor, to be in worship, sublimation. when things get a little out of hand, I know how to evaporate it. Listen, sometimes we got to evaporate some things that are in our lives. Listen, all those that are negative, releasing certain condensates, if I can say it like that, certain watery things that will cause us to be on a slippery slope. Listen, I'm going to evaporate them. Not allowing negativity in my environment, not allowing things to be negative or nestled up in my mind that are negative. That's going to cause me to not feel that I am who I am. And that's a powerful human. Those things that'll say, listen, I'm not financially set. Listen, I'm blessed above measure. And I don't mean the religious I'm blessed. I'm talking about being in a place of consistency where I know just because I know who I am and what belongs to me, I'm blessed. That's a state. That's not when I receive something, I'm blessed. I'm blessed when I wake up. When I'm going, I'm coming. I'm blessed. I am blessed. What's your name? Blessed. No, not blessed and highly favored. I'm not blessed. There's a different kind of blessed. And like the old folk used to say, if you get down wrong, they'll bless you out. Oh, listen. We're talking about, as a matter of fact, it's about the classification of matter. This is time to see what we have here. Don't want to miss anyone. Come on and hit us with those emojis. Come on, hit us with some fire, some fire. Hit us with some thought-provoking fire. Our very own Sister Kelly Horton says, my mind has just catapulted. Come on here. Yes, indeed. Yes. Empress Jazzy Jazz says, when you have knowledge, you can usurp their plans and diffuse their power. Absolutely. Sister Kelly Horton said right. She concurred. All right, Lewis Jameson said, that's true. Yes, indeed. I'm trying not to miss. Okay. All right, Empress Jazzy Jazz also said, this is why they are encouraging us to protest and the one, I'll read it again. Then the media and the sensationalized journalism tells us the COVID is on the rise again because of the blacks. This is trigger racism or trigger racist to inflict terror on us. Absolutely. It's to trigger racism so that they can inflict terror on us. Is there anyone that I am missing that I'm not seeing?
Yeah, that I can see.
Okay. Listen, before we get out of here, listen, I want to say to you once again, listen, donate to the cause. Listen, we're trying to build here.
You read Rhonda's United States patent?
No, I didn't see that. Let's see.
She's on that. Yeah, she has United States patent. Brick or two et al. And then she gives the numbers for the patent. The coronavirus.
I'm not seeing it.
And then there's another one Jazzy put out there. There's a plot to keep our immune system compromised so they can profit. They link any illness to it. That's from Jazz.
Yes.
Okay. Let me see, because you can't see some of them.
Right.
Kelly says fact. I think you've seen that one. She says right.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That would be it.
Okay. Listen, once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your effort. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for the emojis. Thank you for the fire. Thank you right now for being in the family, for being the nucleus, not on the outside, not on the bubble, but diving right in and causing this thing to escalate, to swell up, to explode. Listen, you have just heard from the master teacher, dropping it like it's hot, as a matter of fact. And just for a minute, I'm going to let them drop that fire on you before we get out of here. Listen, once again, you have heard from the master teacher. And because the one started it off, listen, it would just be befitting for the one to come and close us out.
All right, family, listen. Once again, you've been hanging out with the none other than the master teacher, Apostle T.E. Harris. Listen, he dropped a bomb on us. Come on, that fire. Come on, fire, 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 fire. Listen, everything you touch gonna catch on fire. Everybody you talk to, come on here, they're gonna be heated up. Cause listen, we're turning it up, baby. We're turning it up. We're turning it up. We're turning it up. Turning it up. Listen, as always, hold what you got. Muse over it. Concentrate upon it. Ponder on it. But by all means, do what? Govern yourself.
Govern yourself accordingly.
One love.
One love.
Eternal life.
Eternal life.
Peace.
Peace.
Power.
Power.
Prosperity.
Prosperity.
And good health.
And good health.
Shalom Aleichem, Mishpachah.